the common man on a love train, rides from coast to coast. DJ's the man we love the most. Could you be squeaky clean and smashing the hope of democracy is the headline. Says you're free to choose. There's egg on your face and mud on your shoes. One of these days they're gonna cut it the rules. Yeah. Something is possible. See the seeds of love. Sowing the seeds of love. See the seeds of love. Sowing the seeds. That's why tears in the eyes and look to the skies for some kind of divine intervention. Who goes to waste? So nice to eat, so nice to taste. Politicians ready with your ideas. If you have no idea how the majority feels, so outlaw in the promised land. Opposed to the rules out of government plan. Kick out the strong and back to the jail. Seeds of love, seeds of love, sowing the seeds, sowing the seeds of love, seeds of love, sowing the seeds. The birds and the bees will go hand in hand in love. Feel the pain, talk about it. If you were a warrant man, shout about it. Open hearts, feel about it. Open minds, think about it. Everyone, read about it. Everyone, scream about it. Everyone.
The policemen have thrown away their guns. They kiss their sons and their daughters, and their souls are at peace. No more black boys, black girls, trans women dying. No more reasons that could ever justify their loss. And mothers send their teens out at night to breathe the sweet summer air and exhale on the ground. The earth was made for them. The earth is made for them. She's on her way, on her way. She's on her way, on her way. And no one can be silent anymore. Every death is a death that my family mourns. We've traded in our numbness and all of our fear to fight for the lives we now hold dear. And everyone has come to greet the reckoning. The place where our hearts got smaller and smaller now grows to hold the pain. The brokenness that leads to change. She's on her way, on her way. She's on her way, on her way. Another world's not only possible. On a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. Another world's not only possible. Oh, on a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. Another world's not only possible. Oh, on a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. Another world's not only possible. Oh, on a quiet day, I can hear her breathing. She's on her way, on her way. She's on her way, on her way. And when the world we're building is ours, we'll be tall inside. There will be no question as we pray and sing that we have each other, and what that means we'll finally get to be together. Stare with our hearts at what has been and find some place of home. And find some place of home. On her way. She's on her way, on her way. She's on her way, on her way. She's on her way, on her way.
Second. Yeah, okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the live in-person and live Zoom worship service of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside. Our opening hymn this morning is We Shall Be Known by Mum Hughes. The words will be projected on the screen. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing We Shall Be Known by Mum Hughes, or just follow along and enjoy the music.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tell these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tell these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Stand in body or spirit as we sing When Our Heart is in a Holy Place, and it will be projected.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in
This is time for sharing our treasure. This portion of our service is to support our beloved historical church. This can be accomplished several ways. In addition to the weekly collection, you may send your checks to the church address, which is shown here. You may contribute by PayPal using the QR code, which is shown here, as well as on the church website and in the newsletter. Stater Brothers Market gives our church a rebate on Stater grocery cards, which we will have in church each Sunday. And I notice that Dinah's not here, so is that still available today? Oh, okay, so you, instead of Dinah, you will be seeing Kate. You get the full value. Oh, Amazon gift cards are also available. You get the full value, and the church also receives a percentage for free. Please see Kate Wedeking if you're interested in purchasing the gift cards. Another quick reminder about donating for SOS. We need to keep the money separate. So if you're giving cash, please put it in the SOS envelopes. If you are writing a check, put the SOS down at the memo line at the bottom, the subject line. Please donate as the spirit of love moves you by whatever method works best for you. And we thank you for your generosity. To those who give of their time and talent, thank you for your generous care and attention. To all of you who have joined us here today, thank you for the gift of your presence. Will our ushers now please come forward to receive the collection? And a bag will also be passed around to collect food and hygiene items for those in need. At the end of that section, we always talk about the bag that will be passed around to collect food and hygiene items for those in need. And often we forget in the busyness of our lives to bring something to put into that bag. I would like to challenge each of us that are in here today that at least through the holiday times, at least through November and December, please to remember, please to set something out by your door so that when you leave on Sunday morning, you know, the busyness, you forget, but it's right there. Please to bring canned goods or non-perishable foods, things in boxes, cans, bags, and also hygiene items. So I challenge each of us to do that, and I'm going to try to remember to do that as well. Put it by the door so that you can bring it, because this is a time, especially with our SOS, that we are trying to be as generous as we can to those who are less fortunate than we are. Our next hymn is number 1010, again from the Teal book. It's We Give Thanks. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit and join us, and we give thanks, which is going to be projected.
Precious day, forever clear, as far away, for the time we share, with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
We have another person today. It is from a October 1st, this year, 2024, TikTok post by Reverend Juniper Meadows from the Second Unitarian Church of Omaha, Nebraska. So we will watch that post, correct? And then we will have our own quiet meditation after that.
Love is the primary religious motivator for Unitarian Universalists. And from our vantage point, love can be seen as the foundational essence that defines the nature of our existence. Love is not merely an emotion or some fleeting connection. Love is the ontological fabric from which we are woven. It transcends individual subjectivity. It forms the relational matrix that links all beings in a vast interconnected web of existence. In this view, to be is to be in relation to others, and that relationship is fundamentally shaped by love. Love serves as the ground of our being, an inherent force of unity that reveals our interdependence. It binds the universe in a harmonious flow. It invites us to recognize that our essence, our very existence, is deeply rooted in a shared life. To live authentically, then, is to embrace love as the primary mode of being, reflecting the universal harmony and interconnectedness that sustains all of existence. Friends, what does love mean to you?
Friends, what does love mean to you? Let us pause for a moment of silence and reflection. I will ring the chime, and then on the second chime is when we will come back, our awareness come back here. And now I would like to introduce our own Adam Wedeking, speaking to us on Love is at the Center.
Good morning, UUCR family and friends. Today, we're exploring a foundational aspect of our faith, covenant, and how it shapes our relationships with one another, our congregation, and the Unitarian Universalist Association, the UUA. We'll also take a look at changes in the UUA's bylaws, Article 2. a document that holds significant meaning for how we live our faith as Unitarian Universalists. As we journey through this reflection, I want to share how love, as described in the revised Article 2, is my understanding of God or the divine. This divine love is at the center of all we are called to be. Let us begin by reflecting on what it means to be a covenantal faith and the power of covenant to hold us together. Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal faith, not a creedal one. This is an important distinction. In a creedal faith, the focus is on what individuals must believe, a set of doctrines that members must agree to in order to belong. But as UUs, we don't require adherence to a particular creed or dogma. We don't say, this is what you must believe in order to be one of us. Instead, we ask, how do we promise to be in relationship with each other? This is what it means to be covenantal. We are bound together not by a shared belief system, but by shared promises and commitments to live our values. These promises reflect how we choose to walk together, support one another, and work for justice in the world together. A covenant asks us to be in relationship with one another in love, respect, and mutual care. This covenantal approach is deeply tied to our understanding that truth is continuously revealed, that no one person or tradition holds all the answers. We grow in conversation with each other, bound by our shared commitment to love, justice, and compassion. This brings us to our own church's covenant. When you join this congregation, you enter into a covenant with the other members. That covenant is projected here on the wall. Let me read it to you. We, the members of the Universalist Unitarian Church of Riverside, covenant to ourselves, the minister, the staff, and the governing board to live in harmony with our 7 principles. I will honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person by treating every person with respect. When I speak, I will speak directly, honestly, sensitively, clearly, and I will speak for myself only. I will listen with patience, openness, and compassion whenever anyone speaks to me. I will not denigrate others, nor will I support the denigration of others by my silence. I will model justice, equity, and compassion in human relations by forgiving myself and others when we make mistakes. I will support those who serve the church regardless of whether they were hired, elected, or volunteered to meet a need. I will praise their efforts for the work they do, the positions they fill, their responsibilities and duties. I acknowledge the demands of personal, family, work, social, and spiritual commitments on my time. Therefore, I will strive for balance and allow others to seek balance in their lives. I will promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregation by taking responsibility for my own spiritual growth and supporting others in their spiritual pursuits. I will learn how the church works and about Unitarian Universalist principles, traditions, and rituals. I will support a free and responsible search for truth and meaning by supporting and encouraging responsible freedom of the pulpit. I will share my vision and my spiritual values while respecting other faiths and practices, and I will not feel compelled to defend my beliefs. I will support the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large by embracing differences of opinion. Without ridicule or intimidation, I will encourage the expression of opposing points of view. I will strive for the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all by promoting and supporting interfaith efforts compatible with Unitarian Universalist values and principles. I will uphold the rights of diverse religious groups within the larger community. I will pay attention to issues of fair treatment. I will show respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part by acting responsibly in local and global issues to reflect Unitarian Universalist principles. I enter this covenant as a free individual and as a member of this congregation, promising mutual trust and support. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and to live in harmony with all the living creatures and plants of the earth, this do we affirm. As you can see, our church's covenant includes the 7 principles that are posted on the wall there, the values that we affirm and promote as UUs. These are important things to us. That's why we put them on our wall. That's why we've included not only them, but ways to live them out in our own covenant. I want to remind you today that while the UUA is undergoing revisions to Article 2, these 7 principles remain central to our identity as a church. These principles guide how we interact with one another and the wider world. They reflect our commitment to honor human dignity, seek justice, and care for the planet. Although changes are happening within the UUA, these values still resonate deeply with who we are as a congregation. But what about our relationship with the broader Unitarian Universalist movement? This is where Article 2 comes in. While we have a covenant within our church, we are also part of a larger covenant with other Unitarian Universalist congregations through the UUA. Article 2 of the UUA bylaws outlines this covenant and serves as a guiding document for how congregations relate to one another and the association as a whole. This article is not just a set of rules. It's a living expression of our shared values, much like our own church covenant. It's about how we, as a collective body, agree to support and uplift one another in our work. It reflects our commitment to work together for justice, compassion, and the flourishing of all people. The current Article 2 includes both the principles that we just discussed and the sources, which identify various religious and philosophical traditions that inspire our faith. But the UUA has recognized that as we grow and evolve as a faith, we need to update this language to better reflect our current commitments and values. In fact, the bylaws say that we need to update Article 2 about every 15 years. One of the most significant changes in this new revised Article 2 that was approved at the last GA last June is the shift from sources to inspirations. Let's take a moment to compare the sources from the current Article 2, they're on the left side of the screen, with the newly proposed inspirations on the right. The sources as they stand now include a wide range of religious and philosophical traditions that inform our faith. Direct experience, the words of prophetic people, wisdom from world religions, Jewish and Christian teachings, humanism, and earth-centered traditions. These sources have been incredibly valuable in shaping our spiritual and ethical lives, drawing from diverse traditions to create a rich tapestry of wisdom. They remind us that truth comes from many places and that we can learn from different cultures and beliefs. In the revised Article 2, the language shifts to inspirations. The proposed inspiration section states that we, as Unitarian Universalists, are inspired by sacred and secular understandings that help us live into our values. This broader language emphasizes that inspiration is not limited to traditional religious sources, but can come from anywhere that deepens our understanding of justice, love, and truth. The new language reflects our faith's transformative nature and our openness to evolving understandings of spirituality. This shift from sources to inspirations honors our past while inviting us to be open to new insights and possibilities. Now let's explore the revised values in Article 2, and I'll share comparisons to the language in the current version as we go along. Love. In the revised Article 2, love is at the center of everything. It says, love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. There's also this line that's before the values section that I think is one of my favorite lines, probably is my favorite line in this new Article 2. The Unitarian Universalist Association will actively engage its members in the transformation of the world through liberating love. That is who we are as UUs. I think that's wonderful. This love that's described, well, in the current Article 2, love is implied through principles like compassion and respect for the inherent worth and dignity of all people. But now, love is made explicit. This love, as described in Article 2, is the love that holds us together, unites us, and makes us one. As many different faiths and traditions have talked about, at some fundamental level, there is a oneness. That oneness is love, and living in love is understanding that oneness. For me, this love is my understanding of God or the divine, the sacred force that holds us together and anoints us in building a land, as the hymn says, where justice shall roll down like waters and peace like an ever-flowing stream. This divine love is the foundation for all the other values we hold dear. And I want to remind you as we go along that this revised Article 2 is not a change, but an evolution in our understanding of who we are as UUs. Because although love was mentioned in the sources in the current Article 2, it didn't really have the prominence that it really has now. But even without that, it still has been the center of who we are as UUs. In the pews in front of you, you have a gray hymnal and a teal hymnal. Those hymnals contain our songs, our prayers, our aspirations, and our hopes. I found, as I was doing research for this, 2 word clouds that somebody made out of these hymnals, right? A word cloud is when you take all the words that are in a text, and the bigger the word is in the word cloud, the more often it is used in that text. So I want to show you the word clouds made for these hymnals. First, the gray hymnal, right? We have things like life and live and earth, one day, peace, God even, sing. But the biggest one there, right in the center, is love, right? That's our gray hymnal. And then we take a look at the word cloud made by our teal hymnal. Again, we see some wonderful words: sing, heart, earth, come, peace, now, holy, river, song, care. But in the center, the biggest thing, the thing we sing and pray and aspire to the most, is love. Both the current and the revised versions speak to the interdependent web of all existence. And to me, that interdependent web is love and is divine. But the revised Article 2 goes deeper. It calls us to cherish Earth and all beings by creating and nurturing relationships of care and respect. This language emphasizes the sacredness of these connections and asks us to take responsibility for healing the planet and our relationships with one another. Pluralism. The current Article 2 affirms acceptance of one another and the free search for truth. In the revised version, the value of pluralism celebrates the diversity of culture, experience, and theology, and calls us to embrace both our differences and our commonalities with curiosity and love. This reflects a deeper commitment to learning from one another and embracing our rich diversity. Justice. The current Article 2 does talk about justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, right? It takes these three really wonderful ideas and kind of puts them in one principle. The Revised Version builds on this by centering justice as a core value, stating that we are called to create diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where everyone can thrive. It emphasizes our responsibility to dismantle racism and all forms of oppression. This shift is important because it moves from just a broad statement of justice to a clear, action-oriented commitment to systemic change. Next is transformation. Transformation reminds us of what UU theologian James Luther Adams called the first of the 5 smooth stones of religious liberalism, the principle that revelation is continuous. Transformation speaks to that continuous spiritual growth. This is what is truly beautiful about our faith. We're not stuck on old, outdated ideas, but we are continually growing and learning about ourselves and our place in the cosmos. It's why the comment that all churches are struggling right now doesn't really mean anything to me. Of course they are. Every day, those churches become less and less relevant to people's lives. But our faith has the ability, actually the responsibility, to continue to grow and evolve and be relevant and important in our lives. The current Article 2 encourages spiritual growth, but the Revised Version names transformation explicitly as a value. It reminds us that change is fundamental to our UU heritage. Transformation calls us to evolve spiritually and ethically, to adapt to new challenges, and remain open to new possibilities for justice and love. The current language in Article 2 speaks about community building and service, but the Revised Version makes generosity a spiritual practice, calling us to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutual care, reinforcing our commitment to abundance over scarcity. And finally, equity. While equity is mentioned alongside justice, again, shoved in there with one principle, in the current Article 2, the Revised Version gives it more prominence, declaring that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. Equity now stands as its own value, reminding us that true justice requires us to create accessible and inclusive communities where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. Now, I want to make a quick word. It's important to understand the distinction between equity and equality. And this comic here really sums up the difference very well. We talk about equity often in this church, but I do often hear it mispronounced as equality. Equality means treating everyone the same, assuming that everyone starts from the same place and has the same needs. But equity goes deeper. It recognizes that people have different needs and barriers. Equity means giving people the resources and opportunities they need to thrive, acknowledging that not everyone starts at the same place. It's about ensuring that everyone has a fair chance to flourish with their inherent dignity honored, right? Equality, everybody being at the same place, is the goal. Equity, taking into account where people are and what they need to get to that place, is the tool we use to achieve equality. As we reflect on these changes, we see that the revised Article 2 is not a departure from our past, but an evolution that invites us to live more deeply into our values. It calls us to place love, the divine force that I understand as God, at the center of everything we do. This love binds us together in covenant and calls us to work for justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. May we embrace this moment of transformation with open hearts. May we live into these values with courage, trusting that our shared covenant will guide us toward creating a more loving, just, and inclusive world. Now, I want you to look at the first letter of each value. JETPIG spells jet pig. If you ever need to remember the values, just remember jet pig. I'll leave you now with the staff of the First Parish in Malden, Massachusetts, singing the jet pig song.
What makes you a true you? Love at the core of what you do. We commit to work as a team to make our values more than a dream. JetPig helps us keep in mind 6 values that you use have defined. Justice means we make things fair. We vote, speak up, and act with care. Equity is when everyone gets what they need for work and fun. Transformation means we change, and we can still grow at every age. What makes you a true you? Love at the core of what you do. We commit to work as a team to make our values more than a dream. JetPig helps us keep in mind 6 values that you use have defined. Pluralism is how we say we know there's not just one right way. Interdependence means they're connected, so our earth and its people are respected. Generosity is the last we can learn to share before we're asked. What makes you a true you? Love at the core of what you do. We commit to work as a team to make our values more than a dream. JetPig helps us keep in mind 6 values that you use have defined. JetPig helps us keep in mind 6 values that you use have defined.
Okay, our closing hymn is number 131, Love Will Guide Us, from the Gray Hymnal. Feel free to sing as the Spirit moves you. Please stand in body or spirit. It will again be projected behind me. Love will guide us. And for our closing, Grace, will you do the honor of extinguishing? Will you do the honor of extinguishing the candle? We extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest, engage and heal, love remains the center. When all you can see is cold ashes, love remains. Namaste, amen, and blessed be. Thank you. And thank you, Adam, for sharing your valuable time and insights with us this morning. It is sincerely appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you again. And for those who would like to stay in the sanctuary for 10 to 15 minutes for questions, or to share some discussion or observations from the service, please remain online if you're online and in the sanctuary if you're here. Please be aware that these comments will be posted online. For the rest of you, you're now welcome to adjourn into the parish hall. So would anyone like to come up and share their thoughts or ask any questions?
Can I make this quick statement before
Sure.
we start? I also, like I said, we have an art project that I'm going to be inviting all of our, if you are on a committee or a council or a board or anything here at the church, you'll be asked to take a part in. We are going to make mosaics out of all of these values, the post in our hall here. They're just real simple paper mosaics. So for our congregation, I would like all of us to work together, for those who want to work together on a mosaic for love, which is at the center. What we will do, I have these little tiles that you all will take home a handful of, because I'm having people that want to take part in this. Excuse me, and use crayons. I really recommend that you use crayons. So that they're all sort of the same material that kind of mix in there. But just color in those lines as you see them. It doesn't matter how they're going to look. Color in those lines as you see them. And on the back, you'll see a number. Make sure you don't cover anything with that number, because I need that number to put them all together. So actually, if you raise your hand if you would like to take part in this, because we're actually going to probably have to give more than one per person, because there's a lot. So if you would like to take part in helping us cover a square or two of love. Awesome. We already got people who have some, so they're taking part in it, and I agree to it. So we'll be hand 2 or 3 to them, because we got a handful of them. And then as you're passing those out, if there are any questions or comments or thoughts, I can't, I wasn't on the Article 2 Study Commission that put this together, so I can't probably answer some questions that you might have, but I am, but yeah, if you got comments and stuff, come on down. Come on down, Karina, because I stopped you halfway down the aisle.
Morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for sharing the proposed revisions to the articles. Do you support these revisions?
I was concerned at first that we just had sort of ideas, but I think we're looking at these values and have a kind of very good depth about how they are applied onto today's world. I really like that. I think that the values are something that we can hold on to. Those definitions and those understandings of them and how they apply may change over the years, but I think these values are something that are going to stick around as you use stuff, because I think it very well identifies who we are, more than just what we allow, but who we are.
Okay, again, thank you for sharing.
Right.
And I want to say something that what I'm hearing is that people don't have crayons at home.
Oh.
So I'm going to bring some crayons in next Sunday. We'll get to do my last Sunday because they put some surgery in that following crayons and boxes of crayons. And so if you don't have any at home, then please take one. Bring the papers next week and color them then and turn them in, or you can take out crayons and fold it in.
Yeah. And then we're going to have our more of these next week if there's more people. But go ahead. So the source is still open. Any other questions or comments or thoughts or ideas? Yeah, come on up. What you doing?
Thank you for giving that really nice summary, Adam. Like you, I was also very questioning of the direction that this was going. And I've softened up a little bit. I'm willing to give this a shot and see how it goes. But there are certainly some things that I still am hoping to see continue to change in the future. And I wanted to mention that love did appear in the previous Article 2. Which in the sources to confront structures of evil with justice, compassion, and the transforming power of love. And
explanation of what a prophet is really how that reads, which I think, yes, would be awesome in our current article too, because I think that's beautiful.
And in particular, even that phrase, the transforming power of love, that's something that really stuck with me. I think that was one of the more poetic phrases that was in there. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, they completely removed all of the sources. Now we just say, oh, we have sources. You can go figure them out on your own, I guess. And if you don't know what we're talking about, then screw you, figure it out. So I think that should have been elaborated a little bit more, to be honest. And I agree that it doesn't seem to conflict with our past. In fact, I think Thomas Jefferson, very staunch, very Christian Unitarian, would have really liked a lot of this stuff, because to me, it feels like a regression into our past, not moving forwards. I think it sounds very, it reads to me like in high school when you copied somebody else's homework and you scratch out wherever it says God, you put love instead. And I don't, I'm perfect. I love to be in community with people who believe in a Christian God or in a singular entity, which is love. But I don't believe that there is a single answer. I don't believe in a hierarchy where there is one value at the middle from which everything else flows. And so that's something that I don't personally, it doesn't resonate with me. But I'm really excited to hear how people interpret that.
Thank you.
Yesterday, I mailed off my ballot. I want to encourage you, all of you, to make sure you vote early, either on the day or else get that ballot into the mail as quickly as you can, because Trump and J.D. Vance are a real threat. And even though DeJoy has pledged that the post office will be efficient, he was appointed by Trump on the premise that he would attempt to shut down the flow of the mail so that Trump could be elected. So please do vote soon. Thank you.
Yes, democracy was an important part of the current Article 2 and this new revised Article 2. So definitely important to vote. Although if you have questions about propositions, we did a thing that the slides, some of the slides with the information on the propositions will be emailed out to you all. Some basic information about who's supporting what and some UU values that are involved in each proposition. So come on up. I see you standing there. Yeah, come on up. She is on her way.
Okay, coming from a background of teaching, we used to realize the importance of vocabulary and definitions. I would highly recommend all here to reach out very soon and remember the definition of narcissism, and also see how it is irrelevant. In fact, it's very relevant to the concept of love, because it contradicts love, because that means those who are narcissistic use that word love when it is being good just for the person. And narcissism is something that doesn't tie on to this message. It's just the opposite of that. So what you can do by expressing love is remind folks of the definition. And any person maintains the concept of narcissism and only bases themselves. He's not going to radiate love to others, no matter what is said. A narcissist is what that person is. So please think about that in everything we do. When you are part of this concept, you're reaching out for yourself because you have empathy for others, you understand the importance of God, and not just self-centered in yourself. Thank you for letting me say that.
That's beautiful, Chris.
Thank you. This is a great church, by the way. Hi, I'm Tinka, and I just also want to give a shout out. Yesterday, we had about 15 people here. We had our proposition party where we went over and looked at the propositions and looked at who was supporting them, you know, who was against them, how much money had been spent on both sides, and what would the ramifications be, and how did they align with the values, with our UU values. And that was the thing I really appreciated, was it made it easier once I saw the values that we hold dear. And so anyway, I just want to, so thank you for the people who showed up. And then on this subject, I just wanted to say, I'm torn with feelings about, I love the old principles. I love that. I love, you know, but the things I really, and so I don't really like the narrowing it down to just 5 or 6 words. And that's probably the teacher in me, you know, wanting to be clear about things. But the thing I really, really, really love is the love. When I first came to this church in 1996, first, they had not had it like now. They had not had a minister, but they have not had a minister for 17 years. And they had just hired a new minister. She hadn't shown up yet. She was busy packing her things when we first came. But about 2 or 3 months after we started attending, she did arrive. And one of the first things that she said, that, you know, she was guiding us, and in her guidance, she said, we need to come up, this church needs to have a mission statement. And so we all gathered, we gathered in groups in people's homes and went over and did a whole, you know, with words and talking and everything else to come up with what words, first of all, that we wanted to be embedded into our mission statement. And then we would start, you know, what are the verbs, what else do we want to have, what other things. And I remember that the group that Nick and I were in, and I was new, you know, I had never been a member of a church before. And so I came in, but we had a decade or more in 12-step and meetings and things. And so for me, the number one thing that we needed to put in that mission statement was love, because I felt like you can't access any other positive kinds of, you know, values or anything else without love. And so I was shot down quite severely. And except for Nick, I don't think anybody else agreed with me at that time. And they felt that everything in a mission statement had to be quantifiable. You know, it had to be defined, very specific and quantifiable. And love was sort of this airy-fairy kind of thought or value or something. And so it had no place in a mission statement. And I know that I won't say I felt very hurt by that. And I had discussions with Nick about, do we want to stay in a church that doesn't have love as a central piece of it? But, you know, we did decide to, because of a lot of other things and stuff. So for me, I feel very, very gratified that the denomination as a whole has recognized that love has to be at the center but of all the things that you do, if you want to be in right relations with others, with a higher power, or spirit, or whatever you call it, but love is the definite central place from which you come. Thanks.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Vice President.
Down here. Thanks. Two things. The one thing that this ties into something that he just said. He said love is going to be one of the tricky ones, and it seems like it's in the center, and it's the one that has the central control of how far the fish run with the leash, and hopefully that they don't get tangled. The one that I think is going to get really snarled up is justice. I think justice is going to reach and affect the other areas, because you can use justice as a smug thing that the judges get to do and the peons don't. Not that anybody's trying to build that sort of a situation, but if you look at it, our problem is we've got an interrelationship with all these lovely flower petals here. When you got justice, it tends to be a matter of hitting the mark, that specific mark. Interdependence is, we're flowing back and forth. It's like, this is justice, stay put. And, you've got generosity, and generosity is the flowing of things that are not just what we really should be doing, but there's that moment where it flows more. Whereas sometimes what justice wants is a normative 9 to 5 pattern of energy that can be bet on over time. I could keep going on it, but I would say then, as now, as always, justice is going to be the biggest pain in the nether regions.
I'd like to say something about that, actually, because I really like, one of the things I really like about this new Article 2 is justice. I think that issue is an issue with just our principles, where it just says we're going to work for justice, because there's no real explanation. That was my concern when I first heard about these changes, because I was kind of thought it was just sort of some words. But actually, I think the way this value is written, it really goes deeper into what does that mean to work for justice, right? We will work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive. That's what justice means. We commit to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We will support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large. That's what justice means. And to me, that works right along with generosity, making sure people have what they need to thrive. And that's true. And there's different ideas of what justice means. And that's what I like about our current, the revised Article 2, really goes to the depth of that. What do we mean by justice? We mean creating a place where everybody can flourish. Exactly. Revolution is continuous. We're never done. We're continually learning and growing. Is Luke coming up or he's leaving? All right. Any other questions or comments? Yes, Grace, come on up. Maybe you can close it out. It was now 11:30, so we're a little longer.
One thing I like about this is their actions. So they're verbs of how we can apply these values. So in that sense, yeah.
Exactly. And
so for instance, let's take justice. So justice is we work to dismantle racism and oppression, co-creating a socially just world that works for everyone. So dismantling, co-creating, these are all verbs of how we can express these values.
Yeah, that's it. Not every value is one of those definitions, which right, you're talking about the definitions of the values, where the values themselves are verbs, is what we're saying, is what the comment is. Those are the values, and the little definitions are after each value, yeah. We'll have an explanation of how that value kind of works in our world. And usually the bylaws requires that Article 2 is looked at every 15 years. And I believe that those values will probably stay the same, but that sort of definition and how that value is applied to the world will continually be changing, right? Because justice, what justice means now means that, right? But in the future, we may be looking at a different definition of justice because maybe we've achieved some of these things, you know? Any other questions or comments? Sorry it went so long, but thanks for sticking around. Yeah, see you all next week. Enjoy coffee and whatever it was. Actually, I think I heard there was no coffee. The coffee pot has died again, so we will pray for its resurrection. Thank you.